writing because something in us says we have to do it. So for me, the pros and cons, of course, is that not only did I have control of the layout and where I wanted the stories, or with Rabbit's Tail, even I did all the artwork inside, but it won't go out of print. Traditional publishers, they'll give you a run. If it sells well, they'll do a second edition. If it does well, maybe they'll give you, they'll extend the life of the book. But at some point, they're just not going to make any more of it. And then you're digging through book sales at libraries to find a beat up old copy for 25 cents. It's being recycled at that point. So with print on demand, the file is in the ether somewhere, and they can go, oh, you want a book? There it is. 20 years from now, there it is. Brand new, not scuffed up, not dog-eared, not written or highlighted in. And it's still there. So that's another one advantage of being self-published. Karen, how about you? Pros and cons?
Obviously it cost me a lot of money. But I didn't care, because I just really wanted to get the book out there, and I never would have been able to do it if I didn't go with Tate. The good news is I made all my money back. I sold about 1,500 books. Part of being an author and the whole sales piece is it's all about you and what you put into it. The more time you spend marketing and getting out there selling the book, the more you can do that and sell. And again, I think it depends on the goal, what your goal is. If you want to help somebody, or if you want to really sell and market your book, or just get your message out there. But yeah, I never could have done it without somebody doing the illustrations for me, so the cost really didn't matter.
I want to get into more detail with that coming up about the costs, because with traditional publishing, like I said, you send it off to them with a wing and a prayer that they will edit it and all that and consult you as needed. But the cost ensued is through the traditional publisher. With self-publishing, you can do it all by yourself, and it won't really cost you anything unless you hire an artist for the cover. But there are aspects of self-publishing that can get expensive, depending on if it's a small press that you're using. So we'll get into more of that. Kerry, you pros and cons.
Well, I think the pro of going traditional is because you do have help to do everything. I really didn't. I knew I could self-publish my first book, but I didn't want to. I wanted to have sort of somebody to have my back.
There's a prestige about it too.
Well, not even that. It was just like I wanted someone who'd walked the walk before to go with me down the path, and they did that as far as I needed them to. So that's the pro, is you do get the help, but to get the book out there. And then the cons, of course, is the lack of control. Like, I didn't have as much say in the cover or the layout and things like that. Like, they didn't even put a blurb on the back of the book, like, to tell you what the book is about.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, they have like author blurbs, but like they didn't put, and everybody flips it over to read what it's about, and I'm like, it's not there. Here's a piece of paper that has
you have reviews on the back.
I have reviews, but I don't have the blurb. So and if they had asked me, which they didn't, I would have said, yes, you need a blurb back of the book. And have the self-publishing, it can be expensive depending what you need. The more you can do yourself, the less the less you do. Like this entire book, the only thing I paid for was a copy edit. Well, and and things through Ingram Spark that I had to pay for. But everything else, the picture on the front was one my dad had drawn, so I didn't have to pay for illustration. The pictures inside are pictures that I had taken, and so it was all set up the way that I wanted it to be set up, and sometimes that's nice. So, once you get through all the technical things, like why is it uploading, and now it's uploaded and there's these spaces in between the what? They're not there on this screen, but they're there on this screen, so that took me a while to fix, but now I've done it though, so now if I do it again, I know how to do it.
Sure.
So,
and it can be intimidating to do the first time. with independent, because unless, again, you're willing to pay for the additional services of all this, it's all in your lap. You have control, but you also need to know what you're doing too.
Yeah.
So there's a learning curve. First book, I could have gone back and really done a better job of that, but I didn't know what I was doing exactly. Learning curve.
Well, I came from video editing was my
That's right.
background, so
Right.
I was very tech savvy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I was used to learning all the new softwares and everything. So
Right.
it's different type of software, but they're all pretty much, you know, if you're into tech, you can usually figure them out. And that was the other pro with this book was I don't know how to format an ebook. I would have no clue, but they did. So
Right.
so therefore I
Very
have an
small.
ebook as well, which I don't know if I would have. I would have had to pay somebody to do that. I don't think I'd have to pay someone to do it now, but back then I would.
Right. Okay, moving on, next question. What are your promotional strategies and challenges selling your books? Okay, and we're gonna start with Linda with that one. Promotional strategies.
My book is kind of for a target audience.
That's
and
true.
My biggest successes have been book signings at special needs organizations and agencies and things like that. So, and friends and family, of course, but that's basically my success.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay.
That's my husband.
Why?
Lovely and famous author's husband, yes.
That's nice. That's nice.
How about you, E?
Yes.
Promotional strategies?
Oh boy. So you really have to put in the time. And that approach of finding sort of niche places that you know
Exactly.
your message will resonate
Yeah.
is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So you really get out of it what you put in it. I mean, when you think about the journey of when you first decided you were going to write to then you decided you're ready to publish, to me, that was almost the easy part. You know, the promotional part you have to really be on top of and continue and push it. I mean, unless, you know, for you, your goal was to get it out there and you've got your friends and family that bought it and you feel accomplished that if that's your goal, then you're perfect. But if you do want to get your message out there, you really do have to come up with strategies to work it. You have to kind of figure out what your brand is. Like,
Yeah,
how
I'm
is it
glad
that
you
you
said
want
that.
to resonate? What is it that you want people to get? How do people connect to what you've written? Because, you know, you're not like making jewelry where you're going to have repeat customers because they like the way that you style the jewelry. So if you end up writing again and other work, you want those people to understand your brand and how you kind of, you know, what you're bringing. So the brand aspect is super critical. I would say too, I was advised against this, but actually it's worked for me. I've given a lot of them away, but I was very calculating on who I was giving it away to and for what reason.
Okay.
So people that I know that have lost loved ones in the past 2 or 3 months have gotten my book. And 100% of them have come back and said, oh my goodness. And I've waited, like I haven't sent it immediately, I've waited a few months, and I've sent it just with a really simple note, when you're ready, I hope this helps you. That's all I've said. And 100% have come back. And they talk about it. And you know that they talk in their inner networks, in their circles. So if you're going to go that route, just be very calculating about it and have a plan in mind as to what you want that to achieve for you.
Glad you said branding, because when it comes to the promotion, there isn't a set formula on how to sell your book. Some things work for authors that won't work for other authors. It's all in your comfort zone and your networking ability, networking savvy, and again, like you said, how much time are you willing to invest in the promotional part when what you really want to do is get back home and start working on the next one? Because as a writer, that stuff never stops. I mean, you're up 3 a.m. writing notes down because that's how I'm going to finish that scene, you know? It's a never-ending it's like a schizophrenia, I guess. Somebody yesterday or the other day was saying, yeah, I want to really write stories, and at this point, all I have is a lot of characters talking to me in my head. I said, that must be disconcerting at 3 a.m, or, you know, when you're having a conversation with a real person and the other one kicks in, you know? It's that dichotomy of, I want to be a writer, I want to be a writer, I want to be a published writer, but I have a book, and now I'm stuck with it trying to promote it. So you have to find that happy medium. Social media helps, networking through social media. If you're comfortable with it, there are book events happening mostly seasonally. I don't know how many winter ones get together. You know, how are we going to show up if it snows? So, if again your niche market, if you know we've got a fellow member who has beach books and children's books with sharks. So he's doing things down the boardwalks. He's doing things related to the lighthouses. He's doing things related to organizations that have something to do with conservation of the ocean or the seashore. And he also has military background, so now he's got some books that are niche markets for those organizations as well. So yes, that's a big, big part of it.